everybody? You're back with YouTube's favorite couple. I'm JW. It's Miss Diva Talks.
What's up, y'all?
And we're back again with another video by Nightmare Files. 3 Scary True Sleepover Horror Stories, Volume 2. You want to play it?
Yeah, I guess let's see if this is really scary though.
Nightmare Files. Anime person.
This story happened to me when I was 12 years old. I'm 20 years old now, so this was about 8 years ago. My name is Evan, and I had 3 of my friends stay over one night. Their names are John, Steven, and Max. We were having fun playing video games and doing other stuff. At around 10 p.m., John suggested that we should go walk around our neighborhood and maybe go to a nearby restaurant. I knew it was probably a bad idea, but I went along with it. We left my house and we started walking, and in mid-walk, I swear I heard some footsteps around me and my friends. I heard a loud crunch of a leaf, maybe around 10 feet behind us. I got scared by this and I asked what that was. My friends stopped and asked, "What happened?" And I explained what I heard, and they said I was just hearing things. I know I heard something, but then I forgot about it for a while. My friends and I were talking, and at the same time, I was paying attention to our surroundings. Then out of nowhere, we noticed 2 large men who looked to be in their mid to late 30s. Both were bald with beards, and they were around 20 feet behind us. Steven asked us who they were. We all said that we didn't know, and at this point I was freaked out. I then said, maybe there are people that live in this house next to us, because we were walking past a house at that time. I noticed that they started following us, and they were speed walking toward us, and all I heard was,
"Grab them."
Oh,
at that point I was crazy scared. So were my friends. They were running toward us. Me and my friends got out of there, and those guys started chasing us. Max yelled, "Oh shit." They're really close to us, and we had no choice but to run inside my house because we ran for a while and they were very close to my house. So we ran inside through my back door. I was sure we lost them, and at this point, they didn't know where I lived. At least that's what I thought. I was wrong. They ended up knowing where I lived. I didn't tell my mom or dad, which I know sounds really dumb, but I really didn't want to wake them up at this time. I didn't want to tell them because I like being out late, and I knew this would make that opportunity go away. Anyway, at around 12, we were talking about the situation when Max was looking at the window and said, "They're outside." Myself, John, and Steven laughed because we thought he was joking. So I was about to look out the window when Max said, "No. But I did anyway, and I saw a horrifying sight.
Like,
Why?
Why?
If you tell me to look out the window, I'm not going out the window.
Oh my god, like...
Those men saw me, and I knew they did.
Of course they saw you.
And they ran onto my sidewalk and right onto my front porch. So we immediately ran to my parents' room upstairs and told them about the men and everything that happened, so they called the police. My parents were on the phone with the cops, and they said it would take around 10 minutes to arrive. The men were banging on the door when we heard the glass shatter. I forgot to mention that my dad used to have a revolver, so we were hiding in my parents' room. We were very quiet. When we heard the footsteps coming up the stairs, we were, how can I explain this? Afraid.
Duh.
Then they tried opening the door to the bedroom. My dad shot the revolver on the ground, and my dad yelled, "That was a warning shot. I'm not afraid to shoot y'all next." We heard them run down the stairs and out the front door. Minutes felt like hours. When the police arrived, we told them everything. They took a report, and then one cop actually was nice enough to stay. He stayed for the night, but nothing else happened that night. As far as I know, those men weren't caught because they were long gone when the cops arrived. Till this day, this experience still creeps me out when I think about it.
Damn.
A few months ago, my childhood friend and I, who I'll call Andrew, decided that we would explore an abandoned house that was in our neighborhood. Now, me and Andrew were both 16 at the time, and we felt like doing something dangerous.
I ain't gonna lie. I was wanting to go like in a brand new house they just built and whatnot with my friends. But it'd be like one of those.
This does not surprise me.
I mean, we're going and chill, but it'd just be one of those type of things where it'd be like a clubhouse and whatnot, you know?
How is it gonna be your clubhouse and it's a house being built for somebody else?
Oh well, in the meantime, you go ahead, grab, because I knew people who did that, like shows back in the day. But they have like a vacant house and whatnot, just go there, hang out, party or whatever, have sex and stuff like that. That's what I could do. Or not, whatever.
We were actually having a sleepover with each other, and we were bored out of our minds, so exploring the house was the best thing we could think of at the time. I wanted to do it during the day, but Andrew wanted to do it at night because it would be cooler. So we were both alone in Andrew's house, and I was grabbing flashlights and making sure our phones were working. While Andrew was saying he was going to videotape the whole visit and then put it on Facebook or YouTube.
Can I? This is probably a dumb question, but I
Probably
don't give a shit. I'm gonna ask it. Why do people want to do the weirdest shit at night? Now you heard them.
Mm-hmm.
They could have went during the daytime, but no, let's go at night because it's cooler. How?
I mean, kind of because it's dark inside and whatnot. It's more scary.
Yeah, that's fun.
You got flashlights and cell phones. Well, let's see what happens.
I groaned under my teeth and I rolled my eyes, but after that, we both headed out of the house and headed down the street, and Andrew was talking a mile a minute about how this was going to be. A minute later, we were at the house and we stopped in front of it. I looked up at the house and I was shocked by how tall and dark it looked. I asked Andrew if this was the right place, and he nodded, saying that it was. I noticed then it was a 2-story house.
Yeah, you just gonna nod, huh? You ain't gonna say nothing because you scared too. Oh, okay.
House that looked very old, like wood was rotting and windows were missing. Andrew then smiled at me and then ran full speed down the walkway, and I had to run to keep up with him. When we both got to the front door and looked at each other, half of me was hoping that the house was locked up tight by the police. I pulled my flashlight out from my jean pocket. We both looked at each other, and then Andrew walked into the house like there was no tomorrow, and I couldn't see him because of the dark. I just stood there staring into the house, hearing the wind whip the trees around, and I didn't want to move or do anything but turn around. I wanted to leave Andrew by himself at this house. All I heard was him yelling out, "Come on, you chicken." That comment made me so mad that I ran into the house, and then I crashed into Andrew. I then came up with an idea. I told Andrew he should go upstairs and I would stay down here and look around. Andrew agreed and he gave me a fist bump. Then he said to meet up by the front door in about 5 minutes, and then he was off. I saw him go upstairs and I looked around the house. Then I headed to the doorway and peeked around looking into the room. I pointed my flashlight up and I nearly jumped out of my skin. There was a plastic bat on a string hanging on the door. It was a Halloween decoration, so at that point I didn't get scared. Then out of fear or something else, I'm not sure, I walked through that doorway. I was actually thinking about running upstairs where Andrew was, but I didn't want him to call me a chicken again, so I walked into the room. I noticed the room was the living room, and then I saw a door and I opened it, seeing a set of stairs, and realized it was a basement. I wanted to go down there, so I did. And when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I walked into the basement's main area.
I don't feel bad for you now. If
Right.
something terrible happens to you, I do not feel bad for you now.
Like,
I
didn't wanna
don't.
walk down there, but I
genuinely
did.
do not.
And I looked around with my flashlight. This basement had all the normal things a basement would have. Old and gross looking boxes, things all over the floor, and other things I really don't want to tell you about. So I turned my head, moving my flashlight, and there sitting in an old and rotten rocking chair was a body. But then I sighed softly, realizing it was a mannequin. I started walking up to it, grinning at how detailed it was looking, but when I got closer to it, the smell of dead meat or dried up rot hit me in my nose. I looked closer at the mannequin, and suddenly the flashlight dropped out of my hand, hitting the ground with a loud clang. It was a real dead human body, and I screamed so loud it made my throat hurt. I then bent down and grabbed my flashlight before running out of the basement. back up the stairs, into the main front area of the house where me and Andrew crashed into each other. I noticed that he was holding his arm and he had a worried look on his face like he saw something worse than what I saw. And he told me to run out of the house. He didn't even wait for me. He just ran. He grabbed my arm, then dragged me out of the house. When he let me go, we both ran down the street and ran all the way back to Andrew's house where we were having a sleepover. When we got to the house, we both ran inside and I slammed the front door shut. And we both ran into the living room and Andrew sat on the couch still holding his arm while I leaned on the wall. I then asked him what had happened. He told me that he was walking around until he walked into a bedroom and it looked like a little kid's room. Then he found a closet and opened the door and a freaky looking guy jumped out. This guy was holding a big hunting knife. He managed to cut Andrew on his arm before he ran off. He then uncovered his arm showing a good sized cut that was bleeding and then he asked what happened to me. I sighed. Then I decided to tell him. I told him about how I went down into the basement and found what I thought was a mannequin sitting in a rocking chair. It was actually a dead human body. Andrew decided to call the police, and an hour later, they were in the house with us both. The police officers told us that the house we went to was where a young lady and her boyfriend were fighting. So the guy that Andrew ran into was her boyfriend. And they told us that they were fighting because of money problems. And then the boyfriend killed the girl and put her body in the basement of the house. After that, me and Andrew never explored anything, and we agreed to never tell our family or friends what happened. But I'm sure others will find out. But I'm kind of glad that we never did anything like this ever again.
Hell no. Shit, I'd be scared shitless.
And the police telling them,
right.
Shit, they could have kept that shit to themselves.
Right, you could have totally just kept that shit to yourself.
Even as a grown woman, I have a strange phobia. Before I enter any dark room, I have to look away before turning on the light. Logically, I know nothing is there, but an experience from my childhood haunts me still. This happened when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old. A friend from school, who I'll call Sally, invited me and 2 girls who I'll call Anna and Beth to a sleepover at her house. I gladly accepted, arriving on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Sally's parents were out for the night, leaving us to our night of fun. We stayed up until 2 in the morning watching movies, eating junk food, and taking turns prank scaring each other. As Anna and Beth were crashed out on the living room couch, Sally and I decided to play hide and seek. I counted and Sally hid. After counting to 30, I began to look for her. As a bonus,
Bruh. Seriously?
Our game involves scaring the person you're looking for when you find them. Earlier, it had been my turn to scare her, and I gotten her good. When she recovered, she swore that she'd get me back. So I crept around in a nervous anticipation. After 20 minutes of searching, I tried the bathroom. I opened the door, not turning on the light. Suddenly, I paused. Behind the shower curtain, standing up straight, was a shadowy figure. The image remains with me to this day. Thinking it was Sally, I called out,
"Sally, I know it's you. Come out."
I was smiling, confident. My smile dropped as a nearby closet door opened, and Sally stepped out looking confused.
"What are you doing? I'm over here."
Chills ran down my back, and Sally saw my fear.
"Sally? Then who is that?"
Was all I managed to stammer before we both heard it. The sound of someone slowly opening the shower curtain.
Oh, hell.
We both saw it. It was opening slowly with a slow, creaky, squeaking noise. The shadowy figure moving as though to step out. Sally screamed at the top of her lungs and turned on the light. The figure instantly vanished, and the shower curtain stopped moving. As I heard Sally collapse onto the floor, Anna and Beth rushed over. Both asked what happened, but Sally could only point at the shower curtain, unable to speak. I didn't know how to explain what we had just seen.
Shit, a motherfucker.
I never told anyone, knowing nobody would even believe us. Sally later became deathly afraid of the dark, only sleeping in the daytime, never at night. Also, unfortunately, years later, she was put in a clinic for mental issues. By then, she'd been plagued by nightmares a long time, and had been so afraid of sleeping, I heard she tried to use a knife to remove her eyelids. Her mother had stopped her, and Sally had required many stitches to repair one eyelid and reattach the other. I got a note from her months after she'd been committed. It warned me to never face the dark. The rest afterwards was almost scribbles. I never saw her again, and I don't know if she's still alive. My only side effect was my phobia. I never knew what I saw and don't ever want to see it again. But a lone thought haunts me still. What if I hadn't had the idea of turning on the light? Would we have seen what was behind the curtain then and gotten away? I don't know. I just know I never want to see that again.
Oh shit. Homegirl Sally got nutted up and shit. Got confined, condensed. What's the word they do when they send you away? Committed. There we go.
Yeah, committed. Damn. You mad to see some shit that make you go crazy?
At first I was like, oh, she on sleep days? Okay, shit, she can work on shit. She can work at night.
I said she tried to take her eyelids off.
And take the eye out. Shit.
Jeez. I have heard stories like that though.
Yeah.
Somebody seeing something and then
They go postal?
yeah.
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 But the only here take us out.
Alright, so as always, if you enjoyed that reaction, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you liked it, hit the like button too. And if you enjoyed it just that much, go ahead and share it with somebody who will enjoy it too. Of course, if you want to see this video for yourself or check out Nightmare Files YouTube channel, the links will be in the description, along with where you can follow us on our respective platforms. You got anything else?
Nah, but why you so close?
Oh, okay. I'll be over here.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.